Hey church, you probably remember us like this, or maybe even like this. But this is what we look like now. Maybe a little grayer, maybe a few more wrinkles, and hopefully a whole lot wiser. Well, we are pretty surprised at having this conversation with you here at the end of 2020. Not something we had planned, not something we had even thought about when we set off at the beginning of this year and came and preached in January. But it is where we are at today. And so I want to just take a few minutes and talk about our journey over the last few years after we left Ypsilanti in 2004 and let you know what God has been doing in our lives, and then let you know how we arrived at saying to you today, we're excited and looking forward to being your next pastor. And so if you recall, we were in Ypsilanti from 1998 to 2004 as a family, active members of FBC Ypsilanti, and it was a great formational spot for us. It's also the place where God called us to ministry, and so began seminary in 2002, graduated in 2004, and then God sent us off to First Baptist Mount Morris, where we pastored there for 4.5 years. And God really used this in our lives, really teaching me how to love people. There are some significant challenges in that ministry, but God used us in a very exciting way as we were a part of just impacting so many lives in that community for the gospel. And then in the end of 2008, in December, God sent us to Oklahoma, and I'm sure not many of us know many people who have moved to Oklahoma, but we did in Lawton, Fort Sill. I really had a heart for the military, which I didn't understand, and Fort Sill happens to be the largest artillery base in the world. And so we had 10 years of ministry there. It was awesome. It was a great place for us to be. And this is the place that God really taught us about community, how to lead community, how to live in community, and we actually had quite a few people who lived with us during that time. And so it was an amazing time of ministry. And it was here that we really just learned to be a part of a group of people, discipling and mentoring and just sharing our lives in ways we never imagined sharing our life. And 2018 was a year where we did an intentional transition at Dayspring, where we made the announcement that I was going to be leaving as lead pastor and that Robert Smith would be taking over as the new lead pastor. And so we spent that entire year in mentoring and discipling and transitioning from one pastor to another. So a very exciting time. Which brings us to 2019, which was probably the most transitional year of our entire 31 years of marriage, as Hannah graduated college. The following week, she got married. The following week after that, we moved to Florida. And then in November, Elijah got married. And so what you need to know about us is we are now a family without, Cindy and I meaning, anything. In 2019, we sold our family home in Oklahoma. Before we left for Florida, we sold everything, absolutely everything, except about 12 boxes of keepsakes, some books, and Cindy's favorite kitchen stuff. And we put everything else in our car and we left in May of 2019 and spent 7 months at a maternity home where we were engaged in probably the most difficult ministry of our lives, ministering to these young women who were pregnant or raising children. And it was a difficult time, and we left in the end of Actually, we left January 1st of this year knowing that it really wasn't what God had called us to. He had called us to pastoral ministry, and we were trying to figure that out. And so 2020, what have we been doing? Well, God has given us an amazing privilege to travel this entire country from coast to coast, visiting people that we have discipled and mentored throughout the years and reconnecting and kind of playing a Paul and a Timothy and a Barnabas as we've been encouraging and they've encouraged us. It's been an amazing year. And we did not expect that as we were ending this year that God would be bringing us back to the very place He called us to ministry. I started talking to your search committee in April and May and June, but just didn't feel like that was the time. And then Lynn reached out again in the end of October as we were preparing to come back to Florida and figure out where we were going to move and what God had next. And Lynn called us at that just right moment and began some discussions and some meetings that were amazing. The best meetings I'd ever had with search committee and elders prior to coming to a church. Honest, great questions. And it was clear that God was calling us back to Ypsi. which is so cool to me that the very place he called us to ministry from is the very place he's bringing us back to. And so we are excited about the potential, excited about the opportunity. And so that was us in a nutshell over the last 16, 17 years. And now I want Cindy just to give you a little catch up about her and what she's been up to as well.
So when we moved to Oklahoma, I was schooling the kids, and then I also started a home bakery where I made custom cakes and cookies and sold them, and that was really fun. I'm creative and I like to do that sort of thing, so that was a great time. After the kids moved out, went to college, I founded an organization called the Red Cord that raises awareness about human trafficking. And that was really just a passion that God gave me on my heart, and that was a wonderful time. I had never started a nonprofit organization before, and so the Red Cord was specifically for Southwest Oklahoma, and it's still going on today, so that's exciting. And then, catch you up to right now, I spend my early mornings teaching little kids in China, teaching them English. And that has just really been a joy. I love kids, and it's been really fun, just a new challenge and adventure to teach these kids. And so that's me, that's what I'm doing. And I'm really excited to come back to Ypsilanti and to just become reacquainted with old friends and also make new friends and new relationships. So we're just really excited to be there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so our contact information is going to show up on the screen, both of our emails and both of our cell phone numbers, and you feel free to reach out to us with a text, a phone call, an email, introduce yourself, reconnect, whatever you want. I know we're planning on scheduling some meetings, but maybe you'd rather reach out one-on-one, and feel free to do that. We totally welcome that. And so I guess next week I'll be sharing a message, which will be funny as I sit and share that to myself and Cindy, I guess, and then those Zoom calls later this month. And so we're looking forward to what God is up to. We're looking forward to reconnecting and making some new friends, as Cindy said, and hopefully seeing you real soon. God bless. Bye-bye.